So the question is, do you live in a friendly or a hostile universe? Do you think life is happening for you or against you? I know you heard this, but I want to give you my take on this. This has been stewing in my spirit. What's up? It's Keith Kalfas. So I'm desperately, madly, hopelessly, romantically in love with my wife over 10 years now. Hear me out. Don't you dare click off this video, because what happens in your personal life at home is exactly what happens in your business. And I really believe that commitment is the foundation of what I've seen my life go from sleeping on couches and being broke to having a stable life. I had this nightmare recurring way back in 2016. And I told my friend Joshua Latimer one time, the nightmare was that I was climbing frantically up a mountain, but it was made of like marbles. And the more harder I was climbing, exhausted, the marbles just kept slipping underneath me. I was going nowhere. I'm like, what does this mean? He's like, oh, it just means that you have no foundation, Kalfas. You have no foundation. If you don't have a foundation, then you can't go up. You can't scale up in anything. You keep running around in the same pesky stuff your whole life. And the clock's ticking. The clock's ticking, and you know that 5 years is going to be here and gone. Before you know it, another 5 years will go by. So I believe that what happens at home, if you're resisting commitment, then it's going to happen in all things. My wife, she's a clean freak, and she's always doing the dishes and scrubbing this and spraying that and folding all the laundry. And I get so used to this, I actually love it. When we first started dating, she would literally come to the condo that I was renting out. I had roommates. She would come into my room and she'd be like, oh, hell no. She would clean my whole room before she would sit down and watch a movie with me. I was like, I had never considered getting married. I was like, never going to get married. I was terrified of all that stuff. I just wanted to get stable in my life and figure out how to handle Keith. I could not stand the thought of any more responsibility. But it's funny, is that things that what they call constraints, responsibility, commitment, when you decide, which means you cut out all other options, that's the best thing that you can do in your life, because you are cutting out other options. And to me, other options would be just not getting married and staying single my life, or not committing to a landscaping business, or not signing the paperwork to get a mortgage to get a home, just like that, right? Jordan Peterson talked about Peter Pan syndrome. Jordan Peterson's awesome. I'm sure you know who he is. Let me know in the comments below. And he's talking about that a man or a woman, but let's go with a young man. He's bucking the system and he doesn't want to grow up. And now throughout his 20s, it's kind of okay if he doesn't have his act together. Be like, well, you're still in your young 20s. You're still figuring it out. You have unlimited potential. Unlimited potential. It's an amazing thing. But now if you get into your 30s and you're like 32 and you're getting fired from jobs, things aren't working out, nobody cares anymore. Nobody has your back, and they're not saying, oh, well, you know, it's okay. They're like, you're 32. What are you doing with your life? You need to grow. What have you been doing the last 10 years? Why aren't you buckling down? It's because a man is afraid to commit to becoming an expert at something. Like, you're afraid to put constraints on yourself because it's constricting your life down. And now you have to let go of all this unlimited potentiality of all the options of things that you could do, right? And I have a friend he doesn't have any pets, doesn't have any kids. He's not married, doesn't have a mortgage, and he's like free. And the funniest thing is, I actually don't envy that, because I know if I was in that position, if I didn't have a wife, I didn't have a house, I didn't have a business, and I was just free, I don't know what I would do. I might be lazy. I don't know. I don't think I would have the ambition that I do today. So what I really want to talk about. So my wife, you know, the feminine goddess, if you read David Data, The Way of the Superior Man, when you're not present with your woman, she will bite your head off. She turns into a 3-headed dragon. She becomes insane, right? She stands on your neck. You are fighting with her all the time. And you're like, I got to get away from this crazy woman. But what I'm learning is something amazing, and it's transforming in my marriage. I don't know if you watch my videos a lot. I don't talk a lot about my personal life. But my wife and I have been through some rough times in the past where we've just had plenty of disagreements and fights. And really, it all came down to conflicts about our values. I mean, I grew up a white trash, and I was born in a barn, just not being present with her at all. My wife, I won't get too deep, but I would just basically come in the door from work and have the excuse that I have so much to do right now that I literally cannot sit down and look in your eyes and just talk about stupid stuff that I don't care about because I have to keep fighting because the wolves are trying to tear down our house and I got to go out and fight. One time I started resenting her and I had a secret war with my wife where I was angry at her all the time because I felt like I was running around putting nails and boards all over the windows of the house trying to protect us. And I felt like she was running around with a crowbar ripping them off. So I felt like she was fighting against the very mission that I was trying to build and protect us. And I was constantly mad at her. That comes in all different various forms. For instance, like, why would you want to sit down and cuddle up and eat popcorn and watch a movie when there's so much work to be done? That's insane. It's like we're on a ship right now out in the ocean and there's a storm coming and you want to sit down and lay out in the sun and watch a movie. We need to be preparing for this storm. And we'd be fighting about those types of things. But I learned something completely different. So that was me. This gets really deep. There's these old identities inside of yourself. If you were actually struggling where you had to work 100 hours a week, that's what you had to do. But now that you are more stable, I hope you're stable financially, you have to find a way to break free and let go of some of that stuff and let go of those old identities. Forgive yourself, forgive the people you love, just forgive. And upgrade your identity and move into a more abundant frame of mind. You relax a little bit. You still got to hustle like hell. You are in a more abundant frame of mind in your relationship and your marriage. But so my wife makes more and more subtle, finer distinctions. And I get on the phone with my friend Rob. He's a private mastery coach. And I say, hey man, what if a man finally does figure out his woman and all her little idiosyncrasies and all the things, and he finally figures out how to make this woman happy? And he's like, well, then she will continue to make finer and finer distinctions. I say, until when? He goes, until infinity. I'm like, So what that means is, here's the new rule around the house with my wife. If I'm in a super hurry, you ever been in a hurry and you got to eat something real quick and you just throw the dishes in the sink and you got to go out the door and peel ass out of there and go because you got to get to this appointment in 6 minutes? My wife doesn't even care if that appointment is the biggest appointment in my whole career. If I leave a dish in the sink, the dish in the sink is more important than anything else in this moment. But to run in the door real quick and make a sandwich real quick and get out. Now I walk across the floor. She just freshly mopped with my Adidas tennis shoes. So now I got to run in the door, take off the Adidas shoes, put on my slippers, then go and clean up everything. I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to eat. So I start ordering these pre-made meals by Freshly or whatever. And I'm eating this real quick. Now I'm conditioning myself to eat inside of the sink. She's such a clean freak. And then clean up everything behind me. And now she's upset because I got a fingerprint on the refrigerator handle. And now we're arguing. And I'm trying to be present with this woman. I say, hey, I'm making like 50 grand this month. Yeah, but you're never going to be successful because you were born in a barn and you don't respect anything. Her voice turns into a southerner. You don't respect anything. I'm like, the reason why there's a fingerprint on the handle of the refrigerator door is because I'm in a hurry, because I got priorities. Because if I cared, that's the argument. If I cared about the fingerprint on the refrigerator door, then I wouldn't be doing 50 grand in revenue this month. By the way, it's like my first month that I should hit 50 grand in revenue, and it's not even a big deal, actually, when you get there. I don't know where you're at, but after all the expenses and all the overhead and all that stuff, I get to keep like, that much. It's not that much, and of course, man, I hustle like hell. Every night at 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m., my wife and I sit down at the dinner table. We eat dinner together. I don't bring my phone at the dinner table anymore. Once in a while, if I do coaching calls on Monday nights. So she knows on Mondays, if I'm in the middle of a call, I might be called. But every other night, dinner table. Every Tuesday night is date night. Since 2016, we had date night. We just had date night. And we sit down, cuddle up, we watch movies and eat popcorn. And so I look at my wife in the middle of the argument and I say, all right. Let's come to a compromise. I promise you from now on, I will not leave a dish in the sink. Everything that I touch, I will wash that dish off, or even that fork, and I'll put it in the dishwasher.
Stick around. Keith returns with more of the Untrapped podcast in just a moment. Hey, if you're looking for what is probably the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, even track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. And if you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith. And if after the trial you decide you want to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith. The Untrapped podcast continues. Here's your host, Keith Kalfas.
She stops dead in her tracks. Yeah. Okay. I said, no, watch me. And I did. And then in the next agreement, she's pissed off because I run out the door and go to work to go live my dreams. And now she's feeding the dogs and the cats and doing everything. I'm like, all right, I promise you from now on, I'll get up 15 minutes early every single morning and I'll feed the cats and give the dogs water and I'm scooping cat litter. I'm taking out the trash. And now we're assigning responsibilities around the household. I want to get to the point here. My worry is the main resistance is that if she gets me to do this thing, then she's going to get me to do this thing. Then when she gets me to do this thing, next thing you know, I'm going to be doing everything. Right? It's like they're trying to change you. And it's like your woman has a crowbar and she's prying up and she gets that one little nail, pop. And now she dominates. Oh, that's a funny word. She gets to conquer that area. And then she starts working on the next one. And then I see these men walking around with their women and they're like, and their woman's like, all hyper vigilant. I'm not going to be that dude. I ain't going to be that dude. And you ain't going to, I ain't going to be that dude. It ain't going to happen. So this constant tussle, this constant fight with this woman makes her the most exciting, sexy woman I have ever embarked upon. She literally, there is never a boring moment with this woman because I see it as happening for me. So in the moments, right in the middle of the most painful part of an argument, we only argue about once a month. See that? In the most painful part of the argument, I used to stick my head in the sand and get really pissed off. And I'd go write it down on my scroll and I'd underline it. This is the reason why I can't trust this woman. But now I'm changing up my tune and I'm like, this is the reason why God loves me. This is why God loves me. This is why God loves me. This is why. Because she's prying out the things and she's shining light on those areas that your ego is hiding and you don't want to open up and let light and love shine in. Because she wouldn't be doing it for no reason. And the hardest thing is to sift through all the emotional storm that a woman can throw at you and sift through and find the truth of why she's saying what she's saying, why she has a real reason for feeling what she feels, even if the volume is turned up to like level 20. I say too many times have I actually a day or two goes by and I'm like, dude, I see why she feels what she feels. So in the midst of the storm, when your woman is upset with you, just like in your business, because if you can't come home to a stable home, how are you going to have a stable business? Your relationship to the feminine is your relationship to your business. You come home, and sometimes just because she's upset doesn't mean you have to like smear it all over yourself. You can hold the garbage can. She loves you the most, so she can express all this, and you just let her fill up the trash can. It's getting heavy. You just stand there. Oh, are you done yet? Oh, there's a little more? Okay. But stay present the whole time. I hear you. Yeah, you sound really upset right now. I can see why you would feel that way. It must be rough. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do about it? You don't want to say that. Look up the video, Nail in the Head video. I'll put a link below this video. It's funny. My wife has these gut intuition feelings about all these things. And sometimes I'm like, I think she's crazy. And even though there's some crazy in it, there's truth in the center of what she's talking about. And she's either educating me or enlightening me, teaching me. All I could say, man, is I don't know where I would be without being totally committed and married to a woman that there was times in the past, her and I don't think we ever fell out of love. So we do have that. I'm very fortunate for that. But that's what I wanted to say. That's the crux of this whole video. And I waited way too long to get to the point. Is that in your business, when it gets tough, you don't give up. That's the dumbest thing ever. You'd go out of business. In your relationships, I think all relationships, not just marriage, you keep finding the truth and sorting and these people are everybody in your life. They're your soulmates, and they've come to teach you a lesson. They're spiritually evolving you. And just like my wife, every single time we didn't give up. And we always ended up date night across the table at a Chinese restaurant, eating some food. And the next thing you know, we're holding hands. It strengthens you. You look at it as you don't ever give up.
There's more to come on today's Untrapped podcast with Keith Kalfas. I hope you'll keep listening. Have you been thinking that it's time to really market your business in a more effective manner? Keith has spent years testing tens of thousands of dollars on marketing and advertising, and he is just amazed that the 7 most powerful marketing strategies that he's ever found are surprisingly low cost, and some are even free. He distilled down everything that he's learned into a 7-step guide and wants to give it to you for free. If you'd like to download the free guide, it's called 7 Steps to Marketing Your Business. Then simply go to keithkalfas.com/7 That's keithkalfas.com/7 steps. And of course, the link will be in the show description. And now, here's Keith.
One time, my brother-in-law was marrying my sister. I got 2 sisters. I was about to get married. He had already married my sister. And I was like, dude, I need some advice. Aren't you scared to be committed and handcuffed to one woman for the rest of your life? And it's not just one woman like, oh, I want to have multiple women. I'm not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is just being married and committed. Like, this is something you can't change. He's like, you can never get out. Because the masculine fear is being trapped. And the only traps the masculine get in are the traps he creates for himself. Right? He says, well, I don't know if I want that option to be able ever to get out. I was like, boom, that's it. So in my mind, there is no option that I could ever be out or get out. And as soon as you know that you're in this thing for life, that's the greatest feeling of all. Because now you got to face that thing like a buffalo runs into a storm. Other animals will run away from a storm. But for some reason, a buffalo, when it sees storm clouds coming, it runs into the storm. The better that you get at facing it head on, facing her head on, and getting the emotional bank account full and filled with love and trust and understanding. Now, I can't go into other areas of relation. I'm not a relationship counselor because very fortunately, my wife and I in our marriage, we've never had any problems as far as what is the word? I don't even know the word. Is it infidelity? We've never had that issue. But I can imagine how tough it could be in some relationships, how that could literally, I don't even want to know. That's why. Because I've just seen what that's done to other people. And I would just come out and say it. I feel in my spirit to say it. My friend, and I'm talking to you men here, even women. How about this? If you are in a committed relationship, even if you're not married, you literally have no business ever even getting a coffee with another woman. Right? Maybe if it's some monster business deal, or maybe a woman is like your insurance agent and you got to meet her in a public place to sign some documents real quick, I guess. But you get what I'm saying. I think that anything that is temptation or like the wolf in sheep's clothing, anything comes along that looks like it's pursuing you, another man or another woman, I think that should be an instant red flag that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf trying to get into the hen house and destroy your home and your household and all the love and everything that you've built. And I just think that once you make that mistake, it's like anything can be repaired and remedied and fixed. I mean, I have a friend who went through that thing, and then that became the thing that made his relationship the strongest relationship it ever could have been, because they had that breakdown and they experienced all that pain and suffering. But I know I didn't get married until I was 27, and my wife's a little bit younger than me. But we had been through previous relationships in the past, and we have been hurt and had our heart broken, and we know what it feels like. And it's like, I don't know, when I was a younger guy, I used to love attention from women. Like everywhere I went, I just wanted attention, and it was to a fault. And my wife hated that about me as far as when I was younger. When we first dating, I literally could not just keep my eyes to myself. If I was just walking, I'd be like, Even if it was just a glance, I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? And so now she's watching my eyes all the time. Now we're fighting all the time. I'm all stressed out. Say, I can't help it. I can't help it. But then it was like, hey, wait a second. That's incredibly disrespectful to my wife at the time, my girlfriend and my fiance. She's like, if you're going to do it, just don't do it in front of me. But then I was like, basically just if I look at someone else, you know what I'm saying? And schools of thought. One is, I watched this Elliot Hulse video last week. It's awesome, dude. He's talking about like, don't look at other women. And he's saying he walks and there's some woman, she's got her boobs pushed up and her hair and makeup and nails and she's trying to get attention. And you're walking, and even if you're walking with your family, you're a woman. Don't even look. She's right here. You look the other way. You don't even look. If you get the urge to look, just pray, because that is a wolf trying to put poison into your household, into your marriage. It's the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So if I see a woman that looks like that, her hair and makeup and nails, and she's all trying to get attention, and she even wants to put that energy on me, I'm thinking, if you just peel all that away real quick, I literally see like a ghoulish zombie. That's what I see. I actually see that, right? And I see it's like a polished turd. Because what business does another woman have if she sees or knows that you're married or in a committed relationship, or she can look you up on Facebook or knows that you're married? What business does she have ever putting that energy or attention of trying to make you become attracted to her? What does that say about her? And if you follow this out logically all the way down the path, that is like the worst dead end ever. It doesn't even make any sense, right? It's just a bad thing. Really think about what I said. Rewind that and play that again, right? All the love and all the gold and everything you have is in the foundation of what you are building, of the success of your love and your family. Why would you let some come along and be like, oh, well, that looks like a good idea. It's a horrible idea. So whatever you want to manifest in your life, trust me, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Amen. I don't know, man. I think my wife is the hottest woman I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm obsessed with her. And I love her. She can just be vacuuming the kitchen. And I'm just like literally watching her, wanting to devour her. And I think that let go of the past, live into the future, and see love, and see that you are worthy. You're worthy of success. You're worthy of strong foundation and scaling and building and growing a beautiful life. And it's yours. It's right in front of you. When you see that you're worthy first, and you dive into your own world and you fall in love with your life, become conscious and present with the life that you have right now, you'll see that it's the greatest life of all. It's a beautiful thing. Keith Kalfas out. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Untrapped podcast. Please share this episode with somebody you think it will create value for. And we're quickly moving up the rankings in iTunes in the category of entrepreneurship. So if you could please just take a quick moment to click the link below, or just go to the iTunes store and type in Untrapped Podcast. And please take a moment to leave us a well-written, positive 5-star review. It would mean so much, and it really, really helps the show. And as always, you can go to my website, keithkalfas.com, to learn more. Or you can go to my podcast page on keithkalfas.com/podcast. All right, I'll see you in the next episode.